Well, I must say there's danger on the horizon. Actually, it's not just dangerous to be riding like this, but if you're riding like this, it means you have a free spirit. So one of the best things to keep in mind always is to have a free spirit and stick with laissez-faire capitalism and screw the rules. That's why we got silver. But there is danger on the horizon. Danger is actually coming from two different, or actually several different ways. I know you always hear this on the alternative media. They're always freaking scaring the hell everybody that, we're on the Titanic. Well, to tell you the truth, the elite are on the Titanic. And actually, the Titanic is a very good example of how the elite can really get screwed up, even though that in itself may be a conspiracy because there was a certain group of people on there that were very much against the formation of the Federal Reserve, and it might not have actually occurred if this ship did not sink and those people died, right? Very important family members. But then again, it's a good example of what can possibly even happen to the elite because, I'd rather be on his motorcycle with old girl here, yeah, or rather than on a Titanic, even though one seems to be very safe and the other one seems to be extremely dangerous, right? And that's probably how, the suits are talking like up in Wall Street. Yeah, your investments are safe with us. But, if the shit gets really deep, they're going to be like vaporware and be saying, I don't know, it just happened. There was a cataclysmic freaking financial problem. What can I do about it? You know what I mean? So, anyway, better off just going your own way with silver, But, just always keep in mind, you got the damn Monsanto out there, but, there's always free organic dandelions. Believe it or not, dandelions are one of the major healers. It actually even goes back to American Indian medicine. Dandelion root is one of the most powerful antivirals out there that could pretty much stop the damn thing out there, believe it or not. Dandelion leaves are also very good to have in salad, but dandelion root is one of the most powerful medicines out there, and it seems that Monsanto doesn't want to dig their meat hooks into this, so there's always around the freaking powers, there's always ways around the powers all the time, as long as you have the knowledge. But anyway, speaking of the powers that are coming up, Hillary has announced that she wants to run for the presidency, literally run for the presidency. And I say, I don't see how she's going to run with them legs. Holy smokes, baby. Now, I know why Bill cheated on Monica Lewinsky. You know what I mean? Anyway, lady, I think she's got diabetes or something. I'm beginning to wonder about this. I don't know. But it's almost like, if I was a doctor and I was looking at his legs, I'd say, something wrong there. Not just, it's a little bit like inflammation, but I don't know. That's just a guess. I really don't know. But she ain't going to be running very well for the presidency with those legs. But I think the elite are actually behind her because she's so damn cold-blooded. She'll do any damn thing they want, right? But just remember, these are what legs are supposed to look like. Thin, slim, and pretty. You know what I mean? Hey, baby. So, the thing is, there's independent women out there. I don't think Hillary's going to win, though, on the vote. I think she's going to win by electronic cheating. Because I think that's actually how Barack Obama got in for the second term. I know he's got diehard supporters. But you know what? If you think about this deal, actually Barack Obama, now that I realize what the deal is with him, because, I couldn't figure out why the hell is the elite not pushing him to just do their bidding and, attack Iran. But obviously what the deal is, their whole strategy is to build up Iran through all these lifting of the sanctions and the new treaties they got out there where they're going to allow them to give nuclear weapons one way or the other, even though they say they're not. So there'll be a major conflict between the Shiite and Sunni side, and it'll wipe each other out, right? So we'll be back here safe in the USA just watching this from television. Yeah, right, man. I don't know about this deal, man. Actually, it's a bad news all the way around. I'm not a fan of Islam, Shiite, Sunni, or whatever the hell it is, but I can tell you one thing. It's sometimes karma's a bitch, and the thing is that, the elite, even when they play these games, it could actually be sinking their own boat like the Titanic, right? Now, I'm going to tell you, though, that even though we got all this, it's like doom and gloom, but it isn't doom and gloom. It depends on how you look at it. It's almost like the same deal with how you look at a glass. It's half full, half empty, I know the major alternative media is always playing the fearmonger button to the max, and they lie, basically, half the time. But, yeah, there is problems and things like that. But, I'm suspecting that Hillary's going to make president, even though she's not going to get it on a popular vote. she'll get the electronic vote. I kind of think that's what happened with Barack Obama, because what happened with Barack Obama, and actually when Hillary gets in, she's going to change the uniforms on the military to this, right? Hey, everybody's going to be wearing kilts. Oh, God. You know how Hillary's going to do that? She's going to be real popular, right? She might get executed for all I know. You know, the bagpipe might go up her kazoo for all I know. But the thing is, you know, it's almost like we got these problems that, you know, always like, you know, there's something going on. But, you know, it's almost like you never know, for instance, if the situation's going to change immediately. And, you know, I think, though, I got this inclination that she's going to win by electronic votes, because Barack Obama won last second time by a wider margin, yet there's a little problem with statistics that doesn't add up with that deal. There was 8 million less Republicans that supposedly did not turn out to vote for Romney versus the first time with McCain. In other words, after 4 years of Obama getting pissed off, 8 million people supposedly, 8 million Republicans supposedly did not turn up to vote for Romney that voted for McCain last. McCain? You got to be kidding me, man. You know what I mean? That's why I think she might win. Not that she's going to win in reality, but she's so damn cold-blooded, man. She'll do any damn thing. She'll even change the uniform in the military to kilts. But, you know, not Scottish kilts. She'll probably be pink or something for all I know. But anyway, it's going to take the old-timers, like from the Civil War and these jets, climbing in the jets, that defend America against, you know, its real enemies. Because, you know, when it really comes down to it, you know, you can't stop the resistance, including the French resistance. You remember the French resistance? The French resistance was always out there fighting the Nazis. Well, you know, Hillary basically is a freaking Nazi. I don't give a damn, you know, how you freaking slice it, because the deal with her is, you know, it's almost like a political video versus a silver video. But I think she's going to win. I think she's going to win, man. Warren Buffett said so, even though he's an old codger, an asshole, and I don't like the jackass, put it plain and simple. You know, when he says it, it's almost like, you know, it's almost like why is he still around making lots of money? Because he got bailed out back in 2008, 2009, right? You know what I mean? They know they can freaking always pull the plug on the computer votes. That's why I think the old you know, old Thunder Thighs is going to win. You know, Thunder Calves, she's going to win. But, you know, you always got the resistance out there, just like the French resistance, always fighting the Nazis. And actually, that lady is a Nazi, because I can tell you one thing right now. She accepts all kinds of contributions from these countries and supports countries that are anti-women like crazy, like Saudi Arabia, just so she's got more for her political coffers to get elected. And I don't think she's going to actually win in reality, but I think she's going to win by electronic votes. I don't know. It's a guess. I hope I'm wrong. But it ain't the first time I think that happened. You know what I mean? So anyway, you know, I think the real women are actually in the world. They're going to have to stick up against this garbage and just, you know, stay free and easy all the way. Because it's a matter of, you know, when we get something like this coming up, it's going to have to be, we're going to have to go old school all the way, man. You know, screw the electric cars. We're going to have like bikes, you know what I mean, all the way. And just stand on our own 2 feet. Because when this type of stuff comes up, it's usually like people that fall into it, they want to be on easy street where everything's automatic, everything's electronic. They don't want to pick up any tools. They don't want to do any damn thing. And you know what happens in that kind of situation? You know, those are the ones that get behind, you know, the trends. And, you know, to me, I'd rather buck the trends, and I think there's a lot of women out there that would rather buck the trends too. We don't need the trends, you know. We want to stand on our own 2 feet, do our own thing, you know. And I think a lot of people are actually bored by Hillary too, you know. So, you know, it's like the same old thing, you know. I do what I want, you know. I delete all my emails, Benghazi, that ain't important, whatever the hell it is. It's bored, man. I don't know what the hell you want to call that, but you know, we got some dangers coming up here. And actually, you know, it's almost like, you know, I don't even lean Republican all the way, because I know Ronald Reagan was a big fake, you know. But the thing is, even him, you know, the big hero of the Republicans, he was a big fake. It was all talk, all freaking speeches, you know, funny jokes and all that kind of shit like that. But when it really come down to it, he would not really buck the authorities that were controlling him, like Herbert Walker Bush, you know, that was the VP at the time. But I think that, you know, in this situation, it's almost like the real people are going to be Buck and Hillary. You know, the French Resistance, the old timers, the old rebels that run flying the planes and stuff like that with the big beards. And, you know, it's almost like they're not going to listen to this garbage. And, you know, sometimes what happens is in a situation where you got these scary thighs and stuff like that and scary calves, you know, it almost comes right back to haunt them, because this is one reason this lady wears pants all the time. Not because she wears the pants, because she's hiding this stuff. Whoa, baby. Anyway, lady. But, you know, it's almost like the elite are on the Titanic. You know? All we got to do is pull the plug. Boop. But for now, I just want people to realize, though, you know, it's not really so much how much money you have. It's the fact that you got your freedoms, you know, all the way. And, you know, sticking with tools, sticking with freaking growing your own crops, sticking with being real, sticking with real health. Real health is like, you know, the dandelions, right? A lot of people don't know that one. I put some videos out on that. Actually, my grandmother was big into that stuff. She knew all the dandelion recipes, how to wrap different things with dandelion leaves and roots and stuff like that. This is one of the most powerful ancient Indian medicines going. You know, hey, they ain't gonna freaking sell this on pharmaceutical left and right. But you know what? People don't know about it. Actually, people don't know about it. But and you know, it's not gonna get genetically modified because freaking Monsanto doesn't have any market to do this stuff. You know, so it's just gonna be growing free and easy everywhere there is. So I gotta tell you though, you know, that's one of the main things to keep in mind when you're keeping us silver. It's not like this. It's almost like a fight to power investment. That's how I look at it too. It's a fight to power investment. You're not going to actually bring down the power directly. You're going to bring down the power by starving them. You could starve them. They think they could starve you, but you know what? They don't produce anything. That's the reality of it. As long as you don't play by their rules, you know, that's the whole thing. Don't play by the rules. Play by your own rules. You know, we make our own rules. We are free. We are free people. And that's really what it comes down to. So, you know, I also want to add, too, about China in this deal, because you know, this is another thing that's coming up on the horizon. You know, China's got like, you know, they always talk like they're really strong and shit like that. They're always having 7% GDP growth rate all the time. They don't. They've been lying their ass off for all the freaking time. As a matter of fact, you know how they said that China surpassed the United States? I don't think so. I don't really think it has. I don't trust all the funny numbers. And you know, most of the Chinese economy is like on a teeter-totter balance. You see, one thing that's really wrong with Jim Rogers when he talks about China and, you know, the problems they got over there, that they'll basically resolve them, and I think China's going to be number one. That may be true eventually, but first, they got to get rid of the freaking Chinese Communist Party, the Chinese elite. Then the Chinese people can do their own thing. But as long as they got the Chinese elite riding roughshod over the people over there, forget it. They ain't going to ever freaking get the number one spot. They got the number one basically across the United States. And even though we got a lot more regulations over here with the EPA and all that kind of garbage that are slowing us down, you know what? There's still a lot of production over here. If people wanted to, they could actually go cottage industry all the way and fight back. You know, even though Rockefeller's policy is to deindustrialize the United States, you can always fight back on a one-to-one basis. In a real way. In a real way that they don't measure. See, that's the problem. You know, they got to look at a computer and they got to have numbers in front of them. But the problem is, you know, they don't really know exactly what's going on in the details. You know, and that's actually always been the beauty of the mafia, too. You know, a lot of people hate that and they see the freaking movies and shit like that. But basically, the mafia is of something whereby, you know, individuals just do their own thing. You know, it's almost like, you know, screw the rules. We're just doing our own thing. We're not breaking the law. We're actually just doing our own thing. That's exactly what it is. A lot of people don't realize that's really what it is, and that's really what it's been about. It's always been a thing of justice. A lot of people do not realize that at all. You know, they look at the movies and they say this and that. Oh, it's extortion. It's this, it's that. Not necessarily, no. It's about breaking a few rules that are unjust. That's all it is. And, you know, you can always have that underground economy that people do not actually measure. So in reality, you could be having some very good wealth without actually having it measured. And that's really how you want to have it, because once these yo-yos see numbers, it alerts them to, hey, we want that, we want this, and you know what I mean? That's exactly what it is. You want to get the wealth without the numbers. And that's partly why you want to keep silver, because it's having the wealth without having the numbers. That's why you don't want to be looking so much at the dollar stuff all the way. You know, you want to look at it from what kind of capital assets you can buy with it later on. Not so much the dollar trading value, but the fact that it'll buy. You know, that is more or less related to the dollar trading value. But the thing is, it's going to be more like if land is going to be going down and silver's going up, that'll be the trade you might want to make. It might be. But then again, it might be another capital asset. It might be a house. It might be cars. It might be, you know, machinery. I don't know, tools or whatever. You know, if those capital assets go down and silver goes way up, that might be the trade you want to go. But, you know, it's always an ongoing thing. There's no such thing as a person that's a productive person that sits on her ass like the elite in Wall Street, or just sit on her ass and try to plot against people that's worth a shit. It's an ongoing thing. You always got to work. It's that four-letter word, W-O-R-K. You know what I mean? So anyway, we got dangers coming up. One is I think Hillary might get elected, even though she's got a lot of heat even from the liberal elements, because I think the elite want her, and they can always make her elected. And number two, China is feeling the pinch really bad with their economy, far more than people they admit. Now they're actually starting to say so. And I think that's actually going to lead to major conflicts, which is not good news for anything, anywhere around the world. But, you know, if there's major conflicts, we can also have major freaking interruptions in the financial system that's controlled electronically. So, you know what? What it really comes down to, old school is the best school, you know what I mean? And real slim legs are way better than fat calves. Fat calves, lady. Oh, man, I don't know how she's going to run for office, man. I don't even want to show that anymore. She's pretty bad. So, anyway, just stay with your stuff. And, you know, the deal is I'm going to be putting a lot more updates on a lot of different various topics because I'm constantly researching stuff and I'm constantly working on things. And just to keep you abreast of, you know, even technology that's going to be helping us out, not just health-wise, but also, you know, in your everyday lives. And I'm going to actually make a plug here right now because, you know, I've been talking about buying USA. And, you know, it's very important to buy USA. You got to practice what you preach. You know, I just bought more stuff USA and this and that. I tried to anyway. There's a guy out there, I think it was Larry Epstein's .com site. He sells a lot of stuff. USA tools, a lot of USA tools and military surplus stuff, greatly discounted. It's kind of hard to filter through all the stuff like SK tools and Armstrong tools and military surplus. They greatly reduced prices, but it's still all USA. It's Larry Epstein, I believe it is. Harry Epstein. That's what it was, Harry Epstein. Mo, Larry, Curly, whatever. Harry Epstein. So anyway, I figured to point that out at the end here. So you know, that's the guy that probably do. I don't know him. I just found his site. I said, well, that's interesting. He's got a lot of good shit on there, cheap. I'll show it to you. I'll mention it later on another video when I do some tool updates and stuff. But in the meantime, you know, keep the faith. Keep the faith, man. Keep the faith. You know, go with real thighs, go with real legs. Don't go with thunder thighs.